And I happened to turn the volume up on my TV for a split second to see what they're talking about. The I mean, it was also in the paper this morning. This thing about, but it's interesting that at the universities you can be sure that people who are this in this liberal education thing today, part of the theater and like the dialogue of like our political class actually like provides the sort of content for the magazines and newspapers read by these whoever goes to the universities and teaches in the universities. In other words, they have a way in which they follow politics, the sort of like liberally educated people, and the way they do that is by reading like news magazines and stuff, and like papers, and the content is in there is what they dramatize on, and it's on your TV, right, and it has to do with like who's to blame, like the different personalities. They say like, well, someone came on and said, well, a president, he can sit down with world leaders, but he won't sit down with the leader of the house and or iron this out, and then they talked about, well, you see, it's what was it? That congressman who did the filibuster. He's staying on the sidelines. They say and everything, but it's the Democratic congressmen are coming out. There's some of the they're blaming. They're saying, look, the Republicans are doing this, and some people are saying, well, no, I don't understand. Why can't the president sit down and negotiate? They dramatizing what's going on with the sort of like cast of characters in the political class. But what's important is that not only is that's unreal, because they're that part of playing this out is that over and over again, this has happened before on the way to this thing that's never coming, which is healthcare. But and it's not coming for like sort of structural economic reasons that no one wants to talk about. They don't teach like economic literacy in the schools or anything. But right, like all this talk on my TV, is like, right. I mean, this dramatization like will provide the content for the news magazines read by the liberally educated people, and they'll talk about it or they won't talk about it. But that's how you sell magazines. We talked about they do this. They make a little drama out of it. That's unreal. But if you still think that's what's happening, you don't live in objective reality. But most people educated in our country don't. And by the way, they're economically illiterate in a way where, like I said, part of it is if you talk about certain things or why certain things are happening and why but the reality is, like, you're either you're either considered dangerous by the sort of like professors you teach in colleges, but by people who are like, a lot of people just think like, oh well, that's just goes in one ear and out the other because they weren't educated to know about those kind of things, and it's a lot easier to follow the sort of like dramatization of like why can't the president sit down, why can't they negotiate, why this Republican's so dumb, who's on the sidelines, and that's unreal.